I was visiting my uncle in northern Minnesota, near the Canadian border. He's the kind of guy who prefers solitude, but I never minded visiting. I like the quiet. But after that night, I don't think I'll ever go back. It was the coldest night of the year, and my uncle had gone into town for supplies, so I was alone. The cabin was warm with the fire crackling, and I was scrolling on my phone when I heard something moving outside. It didn't sound like footsteps. It was more like the sound of something being dragged. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then came a knock. Not the door, but at the window. 3 slow and deliberate knock, knock, knocks. I froze. My uncle's nearest neighbor was miles away, and no sane person would be out in the cold. The knocking came again. I decided to look through the window, but I wish I hadn't. There was something standing just beyond the tree line. It was tall, at least 7 or 8 feet, but emaciated, with long, bony limbs. Its skin looked frostbitten, almost blackened. I should have looked away. I should have closed the curtains, but I was frozen, staring, unable to breathe. And then it smiled. Its teeth were stretched across its face, and when it smiled, it said, "Let me in." The voice didn't match the mouth's speed. It sounded like a recording playing at the wrong time. I ran and grabbed my uncle's rifle, locked the door, and backed into the furthest corner of the room. I could hear it scraping against the walls outside, slow and patient like it had all the time in the world. I sat there for what felt like hours, rifle shaking in my hands, until my uncle finally came back. He found me pale, sweating, and gripping the gun like my life depended on it. I told him everything. He didn't say a word, just nodded and checked around the cabin. When he came back, he looked unsettled. "There are no tracks in the snow," he said. "Nothing." That was impossible. I heard it. I saw it, but there was nothing outside. No footprints, no marks on the walls, just the untouched snow and the silent, watching trees. I left the next morning and haven't been back since. My uncle still lives there, but he told me something before I left. "If you ever hear it again," he said, "don't look, and whatever you do, never let it in."
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sisters of the Strange. I'm Shay.
And I'm Landry, and this week we are covering Wendigos.
Ooh.
Sounds spooky already,
It
huh?
does sound spooky already.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy.
Big fan of that.
I decided during the research of all of this that I'm going to start doing my scariest episodes during the daylight outside in the sun.
Amen.
Not in my house, not at night. I'm done with the night research. I'm going to go sit outside in my front yard with a nice tree and the sun shining and do it that way. I'm like, I could potentially cover demonic cases if I go do it like that.
Correct.
Maybe.
Or if somebody else writes it for you.
Yes, I might have to let someone else write an episode like that for me because honestly, we had someone comment and they were like, the visuals and the things like that of the scary movies are what stick with them. And I'm like, me too. And so that's why I can't do any of that. I can't watch like horror movies like that. Like how you said, like Paranormal Activity, stuff like that. Those really get to me because I can just imagine, like I've said 1,000 times, the nun's face or like the voices or the Conjuring, the hands clapping. I'm like, I'm walking around my house at night and I'm imagining hands popping out of nowhere and clapping by my head.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that sticks with me. And so.
Yeah, I don't know. That's, for me, it doesn't like stick with me. It gets me.
Yeah.
And I'll be scared for like that short amount of time and then I just forget about it. I'm like,
nope.
In my own little world.
I think about it way too much. Like laying in bed at night and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm not scared of this. And I'll fall asleep. But then when you wake up in the middle of the night, there's something about like the anxiety of the middle of the night. I can't talk myself down.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm scared before bed, I normally can be like, it's fine. You're fine. You're rational.
Like after
you're
it's
an
the
adult.
middle of the night.
Yeah, it's like the middle of the night when my brain's like, it's like it shuts off a part of my brain that does not wake up when I like wake up to go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's all I can think about. Yeah, basically.
That sound.
I turn on every light, like go and pee in the middle of the night. I'm like, don't care. Turn the light on.
Oh, let me tell you what my husband did the other night.
No.
So I went and got in bed before he did by like 2 minutes. Like I was like, I'm ready to get in bed. I'm tired. Like I'm going to sleep. And he was still sitting on the couch, like finishing up his game or whatever he was doing. And I was like, he'll be right behind me. And so I'm like laying in bed like cuddled up in bed on my pillow, like ready to go to bed. And he comes walking in the room. And he goes, I think I just captured a skinwalker on our camera. And I said, excuse me?
No.
What do you mean? First of all, I didn't even know that you knew what that was. Who are you?
Yeah, what?
And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, on the garage camera. And I was like, because we have cameras like on all sides of our house. And I'm always afraid to look at it in the middle of the night. Like, or if like there was a notification in the middle of the night, I'm like, I don't even want to know what it was. And so he like pulls up the video and I'm like scared to watch it. And I'm like, what is, like, are you serious? Like, what was it, like a person? Did it look like a person? Was it an animal? Like, what did it look like? He's like, honestly, I don't know what it looks like. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he like pulls it up and you can like see this. It looks like a cat. Like, truthfully, it's probably a cat. But the way that the camera captured it was really fucking weird.
No.
So it like on our driveway, you know, we have that little square of concrete. So the camera pops on because it only captures like motion. So it like motion detected and it comes on and there's just like something like an animal standing there, like just out of nowhere. And then it starts like walking slowly off like into like the gravel of the like driveway.
Away from your house?
Oh, like kind of away from it, but kind of sideways, like towards that field over there.
Yeah.
And it just like starts to disappear.
Cool.
And then you just can't see it anymore. And so it's like walking and then it kind of like stops and then it just like starts walking again. It's like really slow and then it's just like gone. And you can still like kind of see it, but it like starts to disappear. It was really, really weird.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. And he was like, I think we have a skinwalker. And I was like,
Skinwalkers are normally bigger, so take confidence in that.
Okay.
Because they're normally humans who have turned into like a creature. So a cat would be very hard to get down into. Okay. So take comfort in that.
Okay. I do.
Maybe it's just a ghost cat.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe it was just a ghost cat.
Which you love cats. So that's
I do.
okay.
Yeah. I'm fine with a ghost cat.
I'm like, that's fine. We're going to rationalize out of this.
Okay. Ghost cat.
Yeah. No, that's one day I pull up and I come over to our studio. I don't go to Shay's house. And I pulled up one day and I like was at her garage door and she texted me and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just dropping Damien's packages off. She was like, okay. And then I just reversed back out of there. But you were like, what are you doing?
Why are you in my driveway?
Or every time I have to go to the bathroom here because we don't have the water on this side, I'll go to Shay's. And I'm always like, Damien's just watching us right now. I know he's just checking the cameras. We're just walking through.
Just doing.
Yeah, just doing. My husband, which I messaged you about, and I'm sorry I don't know your name, but it is one of our listeners. So I know her husband's name.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was just fun. And it brings the reality of how we keep talking about like we're growing and it's so cool. And like Shay's been noticed in the store before. I was talking one day in the store I was in Hobby Lobby looking at ribbon. And the girl beside me, I like know who she is because I know her husband, but I didn't know if she knew who I was, you know, like just one of the mutual people. And I was just talking to her about ribbon because I'll just talk to anybody. And and she was like, you're Landry, right? You have the podcast with Shay. And I was like, yeah, that's so weird. Yes.
It is so weird.
It's so cool, but it's so strange. And now I walk around town and I'm like, do you know me? Because I go into town looking like I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyways, so my husband called me the other night and he was like, I had the weirdest experience. And he works in West Texas on oil field stuff. And he's been in New Mexico a lot lately. So I thought he was going to tell me something scary happened on pad. Like there's been one pad he was working on and he was like, this pad is Native American, burial ground, rigged, jacked up. And so I was like waiting for a story like that. He was like, you know, Steven, who called me last time I was home, a guy he talks to all the time. And he was like, he was calling me because he's told Steven we have a podcast. But Steven had forgotten it. So he was calling Aaron and was like, hey, what's your wife's podcast name again? And when he said it, he said like Steven's wife just started screaming in the background. And so I just want to do a shout out because I think that's so much fun. She was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, yeah, I'm Landry's husband. And she's like, oh my gosh,
I love that podcast.
Yeah, like was super excited and was like, we need merch of all kinds. I'll buy every one of them, like all sorts of stuff. And I was like, that's so much fun. And she was like, and is there a place where we can get extra episodes? I'll pay for it. So another thing we're going to have to
figure out how to do.
Yeah. I'm like, we already guys work around full-time jobs. Well, I'm working part-time right now, but still it's basically full-time.
Busy.
Yeah. And so it's like, but it's still so much fun. Honestly, it's so cool.
It is. It's really cool.
But that was my fun story with my husband.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I forgot about that.
It was so cool. My second thing is, if you can tell, I've been sick. I think it's pretty obvious.
Womp womp.
So this episode might have I'll cut my coughs out, but there might be some weird breaks or something if I start coughing too much. Yeah, I'm like, I went to work on Wednesday. My boss sounded like this, and I like was side-eyeing him like, I'm going to get that. And then we went to a site visit because I work for like a housing development. So we'll go walk around the houses and stuff. And we were walking around the house and it's all disturbed. And so I was like, oh, and it was windy outside. And I was like, I'm going to get an allergy attack from this. I know it. And I woke up Thursday morning and I felt bad, like drippy nose constantly. And I was like, it's just allergies. It's just from the site visit. It's fine. Friday was a different story. Body chills, not a cough yet, skin hurt. And I took Tylenol, went back to bed, woke up, false hope, felt good. But I didn't go do anything or anything. Like I sat on my couch still. 3 p.m. came around, medicine wore off. I started crying. I was like, this is horrible.
This sucks.
I hate this. I haven't been sick like that. Well, I guess I was sick on Thanksgiving with the same kind of thing. One day of like real shittiness.
It just
and then
sucks being sick.
Yeah. But normally I'll take Mucinex and stuff, and I'm not doing that right now, so it's just staying.
Yeah.
But I bought a humidifier, and I just am sitting with it in my face. I put peppermint oil in it today, and it was like, it said, don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
If you have asthma and stuff, it'll make it worse. And I was like,
here we go.
I already did it, and it's already running. So
too late.
Yeah. So I'm just here. I told Shay she might have to read for me if I get too bad, but I think I'm doing good right now.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing great. We're
It just
gonna get
sounds
through this.
nasty.
Well, I have a really nasty sounding episode as well, so don't worry.
Yes, you did. Okay. So the Wendigo, have you ever really like looked into it? Can you imagine it? Have you seen the things? Or
When
anything?
I think of a Wendigo, I think of like the tall, lanky, like limbed creature with like deer antlers.
Yeah.
And like a skeleton, like a
Like that,
skull
right
face.
there?
Yeah, like that face. Exactly like that. Yes.
Yeah.
But like black and like,
Gross.
yeah.
I've heard.
Mangy looking.
Yes, I've kind of heard it like mixed with like a werewolf type situation.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But it
how
has
you're talking about.
horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is actually probably just like the most modern. That's probably just from horror.
Mhm.
The original tales, if you like really go back. So the Wendigo is is Native American folklore, which I feel like is where a lot of stuff happens
Mm-hmm.
and starts, which is terrifying because they're the people who knew the earth before us.
Correct.
And it's like, cool.
So what do you know?
Yeah, what they're saying to us right now. But they also don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so creates this whole thing. But it did originate in Native American folklore around North America, where the territory stretched from like the Great Lakes region to Canada and northern United States. So it kind of sounds more like East Coast-ish
Mhm.
up in that area. The legend developed in environments where winters were long and brutal and deadly, and making starvation a very real threat. So in traditional lore, the Wendigo is not the monster you tried to describe or did describe,
Okay.
which is seen and I think kind of comes out of video games,
Mhm.
Reddit. There was a Wendigo, I don't know if it was called Wendigo or Antlers or something.
Yeah, that movie. Uh-huh.
But it had that
That shape.
head,
Yeah.
and then I think it normally wore like a cape or something. I remember watching it a long time ago.
Okay.
But it probably kind of more originated somewhere in that. So the traditional lore is that this monster actually is created as a warning of what happens when people lose their humanity.
Mm.
And it represents greed, selfishness, isolation, and cannibalism.
Hmm.
In many stories, a Wendigo was either a once human who resorted to cannibalism and like during a famine or something like that, and then they became a Wendigo, or a malevolent spirit possesses a human and slowly drives them towards the same fate of cannibalism.
Okay.
So it's basically cannibalism, which is where the greed, selfishness, freezing winters, things like that kind of fall into play. The creature is commonly described in older stories as gaunt, emaciated, a corpse-like figure with sunken eyes, exposed bones, and a body that seems frozen or ice-covered and normally will reflect the cold wilderness. So like if you shone like a flashlight at it, kind of has like a reflective appearance to it because of like the layer of ice or coldness that's over it.
Okay.
So it's
interesting.
more human looking rather than like werewolf deer.
Okay.
So it's a different type of look, but I think it all ends up with the same like cannibalism aspect. So as we've mentioned, in modern pop culture, the Wendigo has been heavily reimagined and often portrayed as a towering forest demon with antlers or a deer skull for a head, which has become the most recognizable version thanks to movies, TV shows, video games, Reddit, online things like that.
Okay.
And while this imagery is striking, it differs significantly from the original folklore, as I just mentioned to you. So the shift in appearance has turned the Wendigo into more of a general monster figure, sometimes stripping away the actual cultural meaning of it.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're looking at Wendigo stories, it's kind of hard to be like, that's actually a Wendigo story, because they're describing the new looking creature.
Correct.
As opposed to the actual like Native American folklore description.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really interesting and kind of hard topic to cover. Like having to find stories like was a little bit difficult. There was one I was reading and I was like, wow, this is really, really scary. And then it started describing what it looked like. And I was like, fake.
Yeah. Fake.
Which I'm like, it might have happened to you, but it's not a Wendigo story at that rate. And so normally, or how I kind of went through this research is I would read part of the story or like the tagline of the story. And then I would scroll to comments. And if someone was like, this is not a Wendigo, then I'd be like, I'm not even going to read the whole paragraph, you know, because it's someone's saying it's not right.
Someone said, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. So I wanted to also retrace our steps, go back to that first story, the very first one we covered, and how it said, let me in, and that it was trying to get around. So someone had commented underneath that and made a very interesting point that it's not something I would have connected. I just thought they wanted to get in the house, eat the person, take the person back to their cave, their lair, whatever it may be. And it said it's not only referring as let me in to like letting you into the cabin, but like actually to yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I think is terrifying.
It is terrifying. And I feel like I don't know if I'm mixing this up with some other cryptid or something, but like they feed off of like your fear, right?
Yes. And like talking about them. The same thing as skinwalkers are the same way.
Yeah.
So I get to it a little bit later. I do say or mention it later, but it's one of the things in Native American culture, how I already mentioned, they don't really talk about it. And a lot of it is because they say if you talk about it, it brings it to you and you're like giving it that power.
Okay. I'm not scared.
There's nothing that says like you can't say Wendigo over and over and over again. Skinwalkers, yes. They say like do not say it more than 3 times.
Well, that's out the window.
Yeah. I've seen where people call Wendigos windy guys to not have to keep
windy
saying
guys.
it. Like there's all sorts of like
Windy
bros. Yeah.
Windy bros.
I think of the little things. My Mimi used to have them. And they were those little, like this big. And it was just the figurines and they had like the spikes coming off their heads. But it was just like a stick-shaped figure. She had them all in like her windowsills and stuff, but like not for any reason. Like they were just like a decorative piece. But that's what I imagine when I think of these creatures.
Interesting.
Very strange.
Okay.
But yeah, so this said, the more you obsess over it, the deeper it can dig into your mind.
Wonderful.
Even if you've left the location where you saw it, they're not bound to a single location like other spirits. So essentially, they can still come to you.
Can follow you anywhere.
So they say to fill your life with light and love and food and friends and happiness because it wants you to isolate and be alone and afraid. So you need to starve it out.
Period.
But there's a lot of things, like a lot of creatures where they say you have to not show fear. They say the same thing about like ghosts and stuff like that. Like they feed off of your energy, the fear you're providing it. It's mainly, I think, an energy thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't give it that.
Yeah.
Which is much easier said than done.
Correct.
It's like when you're scared, you're like, okay, but I'm terrified.
Yeah. So what do I do?
How do I get around that? But they also said if you're a spiritual practitioner with a focus on compassion, you can literally send that love and compassion in your heart to those kinds of entities, and it will, in a sense, disarm them if it does not straight up hurt them. So if you can pull your compassion and your empathy and the niceness in you and like direct it towards something like that, it almost like could make it like,
wonderful.
poof.
So I'm safe. So compassionate and empathetic and sweet and lovely, loving.
Smiles. Smile for the camera.
I'm crying.
But with all of that, I was going to jump into story number 2. So about a year ago, my long distance girlfriend at the time wanted me to book us a cabin near the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota. This was in the month of November and it was already cold out. The place is isolated and located on Lake Superior. The first thing I noticed about the cabin was how primitive it was. It had few electric lights, a wood-burning stove for heat, no running water, and a wood fire sauna attached. You had to cut your own stock of wood to get the heat going and for the sauna if you wanted to enjoy those amenities.
Oh, it sounds terrible. Already.
There's
too much work going in
That's
to this.
not a vacation.
No, no.
The other very odd thing about the cabin, which, note, we are both Christians, and don't mess around with witchcraft of any type, were the mirrors. There were many strange-looking mirrors in the cabin at chest height, so they were too small to show anything about your body or your face. You'd need to bend over to look into them, and they were all facing each other. So there were 6 of these hexagonal-shaped mirrors on each wall, directly facing a mirror on the opposing wall, and I don't know why, but they bothered me a lot. Which, mirrors like that are said to be portals.
Correct.
So
That's why it's bothering you.
if you have 6 portals in there, that's crazy. But we were planning to stay 2 nights, and when we got there on the first night, the sun was already going down, so I split wood and got the sauna going so that we could relax. There was not anything abnormal outside, other than how remote the woods were and how quiet it was. We both experienced the same strange things at different times when we were in different rooms of the cabin, but I'll be brief. As soon as the sun went totally down, I felt like I was being watched. And let me just mention, I'm an avid hunter and an outdoorsman, so I spend months outside every year. I'm not easily scared or shaken, as most weird events can be boiled down to hearing animals moving or the weather. But the feeling of being watched was unshakable. My girlfriend and I had been intimate a few times, and each time I'd stop in the middle of it because I truly felt like there was someone watching us from the outside. I didn't mean to freak out my girl, but she was feeling the same things that I was. I didn't even want to walk to the back or front door to go check, but I forced myself twice to open both doors and shout out into the woods, "Is anyone out there?" The next things that happened were we both heard what sounded like footsteps on the roof. You can't mistake that sound in a cabin that small for branches from some pine tree scraping the roof. There is a distinct sound. The footsteps would walk back and forth over our bedroom section of the roof. Finally, after minutes of no more sound, we decided we were both being paranoid and tried to get back to sleep. That night, we both had the same nightmare. I dreamed I was in a town that was flooding, and I was looking for my grandfather to save him. I dreamed there was a shadowy man with his hand on my shoulder giving me advice. I just couldn't understand it. I didn't turn around to see who it was, but it was male, and I had a feeling of dread. I woke up staring into my girlfriend's already open eyes. I told her I just had a terrible dream and was starting to tell her it. She started to finish my sentences by saying, "I dreamed the water was coming up, and I was yelling to you. There was someone standing behind you talking to you, and you couldn't hear me. I was screaming at you, though." We were both thoroughly freaked out at this point. Then a few minutes past 3:30 in the morning, we both heard the outhouse door slam loudly. We both shot up out of bed because of it. I was angry at this point, so I got up, fully unclothed, and unlocked the back door. There were motion-activated lights that would not come on other than when I opened the door, but this time the motion-activated light was on before I opened the door, but I still saw nothing. The next day, after breakfast, I went to start up the sauna again, and I felt a presence so powerful standing behind me on the other side of the door that I started speaking, thinking it was my girlfriend who was joining me. I opened the door and there was nobody. My girlfriend had been doing the dishes inside the cabin. I walked in and she had been talking to me as if I was inside the cabin with her. She jumped and looked behind her, then back at me, then behind her again. She said something really eerie I'll never forget. "How did you get outside so fast? I thought you were standing behind me. I felt you behind me and I was just talking to you." I said, "No, I was in the sauna. I thought you were waiting. I heard you right on the other side of the door and I was talking to you." Later, when the sun went down, we both took a short nap. I had started packing all of our things early as I had made up my mind not to spend another night in the cabin if one more thing happened. We had both had that unmistakable feeling of being watched, and for some reason, we both had an image in our mind of what was there. We both took turns describing an insanely skinny human with a skull face and glowing white blue eyes and having a crown of deer antlers. So, one of those stories, but still very scary.
Mm-hmm.
When we were describing what we both imagined was outside, we heard footsteps again. At this point, we were done. We gathered our belongings and packed the car. I was waiting in the car for my girlfriend to finish what she was doing inside so that we could leave. Yeah, that was one of the comments. Why are you waiting for your girlfriend inside?
No, sir,
Yeah.
sir. Oh my God.
That was one of the comments I read as well.
Horror movie 101.
Don't be alone.
Don't leave her alone.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I waited a few minutes wondering where she was. Some weird part of me wanted to leave her there, even though it's not truly what I wanted at all. I had found her sitting on the back porch crying, and when I touched her shoulder again, she jumped. I asked her, "What are you doing out here? We need to go." And at this point, we had a terrible fight. To this day, neither one of us can remember what it was about. Only after we left was I able to process it. We both think whatever was out there was getting inside of our heads with anxiety. It wanted me to leave her there. I'm sure to this day, if I had left her there, even for 5 minutes, she would be a missing persons case. The further we got from the cabin, the more calm and weirdly freaked out we became. We shared all of the little things about the cabin we noticed. We talked about the bad energy of the place and how we both were trying to play calm for the other person, trying to have a good time, and not ruin it with talk of what was out there. I did email the owner of the cabin and told him about the sounds we heard. I framed it as, I think you need to check the roof for loose shingles and the outhouse door as we heard noises for 2 days. His simple reply was, what sounds did you hear? For some reason, that bothered me, as I got the distinct impression we were not the first or only couple that had stayed there and experienced such strange things. I do think we were stalked by a Wendigo, and to this day, I believe that if I had left my GF there, she would have gone missing. So that story kind of reminds me of like the isolation aspect of it all.
Mhm.
It wanted them to isolate one another.
Yeah.
Like it wanted to get them separate. It wanted to make them fight for it to target one of them
Mm-hmm.
or both of them. But like you need to be isolated, starving, hungry, all of these things for it to kind of like latch onto you.
Yeah.
And that's what I got out of that.
Hmm.
The deer part of it is where I'm like, but still really creepy to be in a cabin like that and experiencing. I would have not took a nap at nighttime. I would have been like, okay, so we're leaving
Yeah, we're leaving right now.
now.
And I'm not leaving your side.
No, we're holding hands. We are carabinered together.
Yeah, together.
You're not going anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
My God.
It kind of reminds me, Aaron and I took a trip to Broken Bow over the summer. And it was this beautiful cabin deep in the woods. During the day, beautiful. So fun. So like the weather was nice. We were just like drinking in the pool, had our speaker. Like it was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
But once the sun started to go down, I felt so like uneasy. And I'm not normally uneasy around the woods. Like I grew up with my whole entire backyard being the woods.
We spent a lot of time out in the woods with no cell service or anything like
deer
that.
lease, things like that. It never really freaked me out or scared me or made me uncomfortable. But when we were in Oklahoma, I was uncomfortable. Like I was in the pool and Aaron was in the pool with me. And just beyond the fence was all these trees. And I had asked, and like you have to get dirt roads to get there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was that? I was like constantly, what was that? Like looking out there. And he's like, it's just animals. You're fine. And I was like, we are being watched right now. Like,
there's some out there.
I felt it enough to where I asked him, what would you do if we looked inside the house? Because all the windows you could see throughout like the whole house.
And there was somebody there.
I was like, what would you do if someone was inside? He was like, I don't know.
You're like, well, that's not helpful.
Yeah, I'm like, well, the keys are inside. Like, what's our plan? But like, I was nervous enough that I asked that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I know I mentioned it because like I had to go pee in the middle of the night at that house, and the master bathroom and master bedroom were not together, and the bed, which they say not to do in feng shui, but the bed, the feet of it were facing the door, like directly. So if the door was open, you could just see all the way down the house because it was basically one long house and one long hallway. You could see all the way down into like the other bathroom. My kind, loving, sweet husband that he is, when he would go to the bathroom, he would use the other one and leave the door open with the lights off. So you're looking into this dark abyss, dark hole, scariness. And so when I had to go pee in the middle of the night, I had to like open the door and like dart down the hallway, go left, like into that bathroom really quickly. And I was so scared to open the door. I was like, there's going to be something down there.
Oh my God.
And then even the doors that were, it was like a whole window to the back of the house where the pool was and everything. It was just sheer curtains. And I had left the porch lights on. And I was like, I'm just going to see a shadow standing there. And I was so uncomfortable, but only at nighttime. During the day, I didn't feel discomfort at all. But
somebody
same thing.
Go to the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the dark. You're right. You are right. No cracked doors.
Yeah.
Unless there's light on the other side. But even then, I've had it to where I like still felt like there was something on the other side of the door. Like at Dad Mantha's house, Dad's an electricity monster. And so I would sleep with my bathroom or my bedroom light on, the closet light on, and he would come in and be like, nope. And he would turn it off. And I would promptly turn it back on when he would leave the room.
Correct.
And even then, with that door open and the light on, I still felt like there was a man standing in the closet.
Ew. Gross.
That says a lot when the light is on and you're still. I don't know why I do that.
You're still scared?
You're still scared? You still feel that way. Yeah. I don't know. Feeling like I was hunted in the woods, not a fan.
Not a fan of that.
No.
But picking at your nails. Oh, I thought you were picking
It's my bracelet.
I thought you were picking at your nails. I was like, what?
No, I'm picking on my bracelet, on my thing, on my bracelet. But that's gross.
Correct.
And it kind of reminds me of being whenever we went on a road trip up there, you're like in those woods. So I can envision like the woods, the cabin they were in, because we stayed kind of out in like desolate areas. And we're going to do it again probably. Except this time we're going towards, I want to go to Oregon or Washington.
Yeah. And that's where all those creatures reside.
So that's really fun.
Yay.
But I do want to do that. So yeah, that was a scary story.
Loved it.
Number 3. I have spent the past 2 summers guiding canoe trips in Minnesota and have had a few run-ins and heard many stories from other guides about their experiences. The Ojibwa, I think that's how I heard it said. I could be wrong, so I apologize. Have lived in this area for thousands of years, and there are many places that we can't camp on because they are Indian reservation land. I have heard this area referred to as Wendigo country, and there are multiple places named after it, like the Wendigo Islands, for example.
Hell yeah. I want to go there. Take me there.
Don't go. I have plenty of stories that have been passed on by other guides, which are pretty terrifying, and I could share some if there is interest, but I will share one experience I was involved in. It was me, another guide, and we had about 7 kids with us on this trip. On the first night, we stopped after a long day of paddling at a campsite known as Little Trisket.
Oh, cute.
I know, it does sound very like Girl Scout.
Girl Scout.
Oh, good nards. We had one camper with us that was somewhere on the spectrum and had a big communication issue. As we were making dinner over the fire, he seemed to notice something in the woods behind us. He kept saying things along the lines of, "Who is that man in the woods?" Which would be terrifying from someone who can't fully communicate with you. But it was described as a tall, skinny man that was all white. We assured him that there was no one there, and we did a head count to make sure all of the kids were still gathered with us so that they made sure there was no kids out there. We checked it out and didn't see anything, so we brushed it off and got back to making dinner. The same night, a different camper was in her tent by herself because she was the only girl on our trip, and just as me and my co-guide were starting to fall asleep, we heard her say, "Gilly Vanilli, stop." We replied, "What? We are in our tent," and she just brushed it off and went to bed. In the morning, we asked her what was up, and she said that something was shaking her tent, and she thought it was us. It wasn't a windy night. The boys were all in their tents, and we were in ours. When we took her tent down and took the stakes out, 2 of them were completely bent at 90-degree angles. We tested out the flexibility, and we couldn't get the thing to budge back. I've been in some crazy windstorms out there, probably with winds around 30 to 40 miles an hour, and I've never seen a stake bent like that. But we left Little Trisket, and some weird stuff stopped happening. When we got back to base camp, I talked to another guide that stayed at that same campsite the night after, and without me saying anything, she said, "There is some sort of big white creature at that campsite."
Okay, girl. She's like, "I have something to say."
Yeah, just so you know. She told us that she was going to the bathroom way back in the woods and thought that another camper had accidentally came to her bathroom spot and ran away. But when she got back, everyone was there and no one had left the fire since the time that she had left to go use the restroom. There are much scarier stories and experiences other guides have been involved in with these spirits up here. This was my first, and hopefully I won't have to have any more. We try to treat the wilderness with the utmost respect due to the Native American culture. This makes me feel safe, at least in my mind, from these spirits, as almost every other story normally starts off with someone disrespecting or claiming that they don't believe in these things. So that's creepy.
So I have 2 things to say. First of all,
Don't go.
we need to talk about Gilly Vanilli. What is that?
I guess like one of them's name was maybe like their names and mixing them together.
Okay. Second,
You don't ever call anyone weird. I don't have a single person that I don't call by their actual real name.
Gilly Vanilli just caught me off guard.
I love it.
From like a child.
Yeah.
Like, where did you get that, girl?
I call my mom Jean Bob Jangle, and her name is Jeannie.
Fair. Second off, who's letting a little girl go into the woods
No, that
by
was
herself?
That was the camp, like a camp counselor. So that went a different night.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed. I was thinking about Gilly Vanilli, and
Still
then I
the same.
heard that, and I was like, "Why is she going to
Why
the
are you
bathroom by
doing
herself
that?
in the woods?"
No, that was another camp counselor
Okay.
that went like a day later
My bad.
and was using the restroom way off
Okay.
and saw like a white creature running in the woods while she was trying to use the restroom. And thought maybe someone had left camp while she was using the restroom and then got back to realize no one had left camp while she was using the restroom.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Next question. Wendigo and the rake sound very similar in like appearance.
Yeah. And I
So
think
that's
skinwalkers
scary.
even sound, or like, I think like the natural appearance of a skinwalker, I feel like they can be all kind of intermingled.
Yeah.
Like none of them are the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think they all like look wise, they probably intermingle for sure.
Yuck.
Yuck. Yeah. I would have a terrifying time going to the bathroom in the woods because we've done that 1,000 times where you walk off, you go to the bathroom by yourself. Never done it at nighttime. I don't think. Don't feel like that's been part of my course. I normally have some daylight.
Yeah.
But even during the day, if I saw a white creature standing somewhere off while I was just trying to use the restroom.
Yeah, I feel like that might be more scary.
I would pee all over everything. My clothes would no longer be usable. They would be soaking wet and I would be wearing them running.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Absolutely not.
I'm picturing Patrick like waddling away with his pants around his ankles.
That's me. No David. No clothes.
No clothes.
Naked. Running.
Yeah. Bare ass.
Bare ass. Because absolutely not. I would pee everywhere. Because you just squat, you pull your pants out a little bit, squat. I'd be standing up and I'd be peeing all over my pants.
Running.
And just whoop.
Gotta go.
Yeah. What a good time.
Mm-mm-mm.
So note to self, don't go camping.
Yeah.
Ever.
On Wendigo Island.
Yeah, also that. It's the same. There's the story of like the soccer team who crashed in like Russia or something like that or something.
The Donner Pass at Donner?
Is that the soccer people? No.
I don't think they were.
No, it's like a kid's soccer team or something like that. I can't think of what it's called, but there's a whole story about that. And it's like people go and they'll camp on the other side where you can see the mountain pass. And then they'll be like, you can see lanterns and stuff. And it's like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I guess
the same reason we would go stay at a haunted hotel.
Yeah, like same reason we go to haunted houses, I guess. Oh.
So let us not be judgmental.
Yes, but let me tell you, if I saw a creature, I'm done. We are all actually screw the kids. I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah. We all know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how to say it.
No, you don't. I know exactly what's going on in your head. Okay. Next story. My friends and I go camping a lot, and my favorite place is in the Red River Gorge of Kentucky. We go there often, and I've been ever since I was an infant. I'm 28 years old now, married and with a kid, and I still go. It is the closest place to where I live where you can see the Milky Way pretty much every single night, which sounds beautiful.
Amazing.
It's perfect for stargazing, and I've seen a shooting star every single night that I've been there where it was a clear night.
Wow.
I know. Pretty cool. When we will go without our kid, we will take night hikes to go to a lookout and really stargaze for hours. Our first few times night hiking, we would go to the trails we knew well and were used frequently during the day, ones with log fences and gazebo resting places. The most used trail is a trail in the Natural Bridge State Park that leads up to the Natural Bridge. This trail is around 2 miles uphill depending on your starting point. I've done this trail every summer of my life and could do it blindfolded. It has wooden steps, carved rock steps, log handrails, multiple sitting points under roofs, trash cans, but after reaching the main trailhead, it has no lights at all. It's used often, and while it is uphill, the difficulty is low. As long as you have a good grip on your shoes and water, you'll be fine. My friends have done it with me multiple times, and they are as confident as I am. Well, hiking this trail at night is not allowed, but it's the woods, and I've never really been one to care about closing times for literal outside. When we used this main trail to hike to the top, we would park in the lot designated for the pool and Hoedown Island. You walk across the road that leads to the pool, and you're at the first trail marker. You go up gravel for a while and past the Natural Bridge State Park Lodge. There's a waterfall and some lights, so it's best to go fast and watch out for rangers that would tell us to leave. Then you walk across another road, and there's a mini shelter to sit in or a small rock wall to rest your legs. Then it's the beginning of the trail to the top. The night was weird to begin with. As soon as we started the hike, the clouds took over, and it appeared we'd be walking for nothing to even stargaze at. But we went anyways just in case it cleared out by the time we got up there. In the beginning, it was just normal paranoia that was keeping us stressed out and quiet, so it seemed. You know you've reached the bottom of the bridge when you see a giant wall of limestone. During this time, there was a gazebo that sat to the right of this wall, and the trail continued and followed next to the wall. Where you come from is a fairly steep part of the trail, and the gazebo is welcomed. My husband, my best friend at the time, and I all sat on the gazebo steps, facing to where we all were looking down the trail that follows the limestone wall. We each have an LED headlamp and a handheld flashlight. We don't usually look at each other when we night hike because the lights are so bright. We sit in a line like the Lord's Supper and walk in a line or staggered so we don't blind ourselves. It is after hours at this point. No ski lift rides had gone on for hours, and the rangers had already done their sweep and left right before we got out of the car and headed up. We left no time between them making sure the trail and top were clear and us starting our hike up. The ski lift takes you up to the top, but there are workers that stay and do counts and only leave after it's clear. I guess I have to make these points because that's what I was thinking when we seemed to, out of nowhere, see a girl with the headlamp as she began to walk down the trail we were looking at. She's in a sundress and flip-flops. This hike is uphill, and while it is a fairly easy hike, it's not easy with no water or real shoes. She'd have to have hiked up and down to this point with no food or water. Her light was bright, and when she reached where the trail turns from in front of the gazebo to down where we came from, she stopped. She just stood there straight on like how a human is presented in an anatomical drawing. She was looking directly at us, all sitting there. Huh? Oh, I thought you were pointing at something. I was like, what?
No.
She was looking directly at us, all sitting there, and her light made me bring my hand up to my eyes to shield them. She didn't turn away from our lights or even seem bothered that she had 6 LED lights aimed directly at her face. I said, hello? She said, kind of with the pause between every word, something like, hello, how are you?
Oh.
I said something like, good, how are you? And she took an even longer pause before she said, oh, I'm fine. Then she just stood there with her hands to her side and staring at us. Her light made it impossible to really see her face. It was so bright. I had my hand up the entire time until she just turned and walked slowly down the trail part that we had just come up. She got to a part where the trail turned, and we saw her light just stay in one spot for a minute until she turned and the light faded out of sight. We waited for a while before continuing up. I kept making comments about how weird that was, and everyone else just made it out to be me always being afraid. But no one ever came after her. She had done this hike alone, at night, and somehow without being found by any ranger. We got up after a bit and started back up to the top. I felt like it took much longer than it ever had in the past, but we made it to the top. Going up and being on the top, we could hear twigs snapping, almost alternating from left then right. We laid down and tried to stargaze, but the clouds are even thicker now, and it was also suddenly miserably hot. We could hear voices at times, so my husband kept looking around for people, but he never saw anyone. We saw a light flash, but we never saw anyone attached to it. And then we heard a bird call, but it wasn't like a real bird noise at all. It sounded like a person making bird calls, like rhythmic and not really natural. I was convinced we weren't alone and hadn't been alone, but also, I am also the most easily spooked person. I asked to leave as soon as they were ready, and to my surprise, they were both ready to leave right then and there. And that scared me because they were just as afraid as me at that point. Which that's fair. You have the one friend that's like really strong. So if they like, it's like Aaron, like my husband, if he's nervous, I'm like, oh, I'm really nervous now because he does not get like scared. Easily startled by anything.
Yeah.
We began going down the way we came, and it felt like it was taking so long. We were going steady and quick, and it was downhill, but we were not making any ground, it seemed. It's hard to explain, but it was so weird, and at one point, I even said it out loud. I said, this feels so much longer, and they both agreed with me. I kept looking behind me with my flashlight, and my husband kept looking out to the sides, but my friend kept hers mostly forward. I kept feeling watched and couldn't figure out what footsteps were ours, or if they were all ours that I was hearing. I would turn in the direction of any noise, but not see anything. When my husband was walking, he kept saying he was catching eyes in his flashlight, and usually you can catch raccoon eyes spying on you, or some sort of animal like that, but he was afraid maybe a bear or a big dog or something else was going on. And he never really got his lights on whatever eyes they were long enough to see an animal's shape or size. So basically he keeps catching eyes and is not seeing any shape associated with it because he catches them and then
they're gone.
Move on.
Yeah.
Which is
R.I.P.
Your husband sucks.
Oh my God. My husband's playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre over there. Jesus.
Jeez.
Anyways, that literally made my heart stop.
Well, please don't do that because I have no idea how to save you.
Oh my God.
So now we're hiking down a semi-flattish area compared to the downhill hike that we've been doing. The log fence or handrail is on our right side. We are in a row walking within reaching distance of this barrier, and my husband just stops walking altogether and says, "What's that?" But the question is more like an alert. I move my headlamp in the direction and don't see anything at all. But then both of his lights catch a shape, then my headlamp catches it, and I move my hand lamp to center and catch it while my friend simultaneously finds it in her lights as well. So you can just imagine like
all the lights.
Yeah, just onto this thing. All 6 lights shine onto and kind of reflect off of a light gray creature. It is bent in a crouching position, kneeling on its right leg, and starts turning towards us slowly. It starts to slowly stand. It looks human, but it's too big. People mistake human shapes for what's actually bears in the woods quite often, but this thing is skinny. It is thin and big and almost white. Its skin resembles dolphin skin almost. There's a
Ew.
shine to it, and our lights get reflected a little when they're on it. It gradually comes to a full standing position in front of us. Its head is long, and its eyes are in a human position on its face and the front rather than on the sides like animals, but I could not see any other facial features. Just big, almost empty holes or pits where its eyes should be. It looked directly at us and our lights. The way it stood was intimidating, almost like when a snake raises up and flexes their necks all crazy to show the prey that they're stronger and smarter. It was like it was stepping up to fight us. From crouching, then turning, then standing front on and ahead of us. The arms hung down low, and the hands seemed too long. Its hands had to be by its knees. I'd guess it stood 9 or so feet tall, and not far from us at all. No hair at all, but I couldn't process what I saw and was frozen. Then I just feel my husband hitting me on the back and yelling, "Run, run, run." Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I start to understand we have to get away from this thing, and it pivots and runs to the right, going backwards on the trail so it could get around the barrier and onto the trail behind us. We take off running the rest of the way down the trail, knowing that this thing just took off much faster than us, and after it had crossed from behind the barrier, it would be gaining on us quick. We didn't talk at all because when we tried, it felt almost like we would get caught. We kept running as fast as we can, but some areas were steep. It never felt like we were out of its sight, though. As we made it to the trail beginning with the gravel, we could hear something to the side crashing down through the forest. We ran until we got to the car and then drove as fast as we could, and as soon as we got to the main road, the sky cleared up and the stars were out. When that thing looked at us, I knew it was smarter and faster than us. I knew that if we hadn't seen it, that it could have easily taken one of us and gotten away. I think the only reason it hesitated was because it saw so many of us together and at once.
Mm-hmm.
When we made it back to where we were staying, all of us took out our phones and wrote a note for what we saw. We hadn't really spoken about it until after we looked at each other's phones, and the stories were all the same. Without a doubt, we had seen something real.
Good Lord.
Isn't that horrifying?
Yeah.
I am all for a night hike. I'm all for it, honestly.
I don't think I am.
But the girl alone would have sent me back.
Correct. With the way that she was talking, not human-like?
Yeah, and in sundress and flip-flops, like
Yeah.
at that hour.
Yeah, first of all, that's a no.
Not on a hiking trail.
But when she spoke, that's when I was like, wrong.
Wrong. Yeah, that would have sent me, I would have been like, And I even think Aaron would have been like, that's kind of odd.
Yeah,
we
something's weird.
We should probably not. We should not do that.
I wonder if it was her.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Or if
then,
there's just no correlation at all, or if she had already seen something and they were scaring her,
maybe.
you know?
Yeah, maybe.
But enough that she still would have made me unsettled immediately, just staring at us, kind of like standing there weird, like gaps between talking. Yeah. Too odd for me. But seeing a creature, like I can imagine it too. In the dark, you're not looking around you. Like, but that's one of the reasons when we used to play hide and seek in the dark, I did not use a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
I used the natural outside sky light.
Yeah.
Because flashlights made it worse.
Yeah,
because you can't see out of the beam.
The light of the circumference of the light. Yeah.
So like I would just raw dog it
Mhm.
basically, but it was easier to see that way. And
it was
your
less
eyes will
scary.
adjust after so long. And so that's how I would go about it because it was so much harder to see with the light. So I can just imagine you're on this trail and you all end up like circling in on this creature that's all hunched over, all weird, looks weird, and then it slowly stands up and just faces you.
Gotta go.
I'm running.
I'm out.
I'm a track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Yeah. That would terrify me.
Mm-mm.
And you can just hear it subtly around you, you know, but you just don't see it still.
No.
And then to all of you like validate it with each other like afterwards. And so
Mhm.
like we experienced that when we did the ghost tour stuff. Like we didn't really talk a whole lot in it. And then afterwards we were like, yeah, that happened. And you were like, that happened to me too. And that's why I moved over here. And
yeah.
So it's always weird when things get validated
By
when
other
you're
people.
like, like talking, but not when you're in the moment, like just like later.
Yeah. Agreed.
But, yeah. That was my last story on that, but that was creepy. But I've got I actually found a little bit of a thing. So it's actually something that someone's Native American grandmother raised them to believe.
Okay.
Because like I've talked about, Native Americans don't like to talk about it much. It's actually kind of hard to find. I've only found like one or two people, Native American wise, who will actually come out and share their lore. And it's hard for them. It's hard to find any sources of them actually like spilling the beans, basically. But I did find this. So it said, I'm not an Alaskan native, but my granny growing up was. She was an elder and very active in her tribe. The way she described a Wendigo to me was a gaunt, skeletal human that was so skinny they became invisible if they turned sideways. They are winter creatures and walk in swirls of snow and ice, not a summer creature when the land was fertile and warm, which kind of contradicts some of the stories, but it's very interesting to hear like the natural like lore of it. You never see them hunting you, but they will grab you and drag you on the wind until your feet are scraped right off and drop you. They're cannibals who survive by eating human flesh. If you're bitten by a Wendigo but manage to escape them, you will also carry their curse and become one. The way the story was told to me, Wendigo are wind walkers that call to people to lure them into the forest at night. When out hunting and you hear a voice calling you into the woods, do not follow. Those who hear the call go mad trying to get out, but do not let them go. It is better to have them go mad in the cabin than let them be eaten by something outside. So like you'll be in the cabin and you're the, but there's stories also where I read where only one person can hear it and the other people can't. So it's like calling specifically to you.
Yeah.
And so like you're going mad because you're like, I need to go to this noise, and everyone around you is like,
what are you talking about?
But like to hold you back.
Yeah.
They are insatiable, and the more they eat, the bigger they get. When a Wendigo is in an area, you just don't go there. A shaman might be able to help, but it is still very dangerous. So one of the other concepts about a Wendigo is that they cannot eat enough, which is what insatiable means. So tied in with them getting bigger, it's like they eat you, they get bigger, so their hunger's not satiated. So they eat another person and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's some people that say they can be anywhere from like 10 to 15 feet tall because of just eating people and not being able to be satiated.
Ugh. That's so unsettling.
Yeah. So like as tall as a tree outside. Most trees are like, that tree probably is like 25, 30 feet tall. So being like their head in the trees.
Ew.
So all you would just see is a body that almost would probably look like a tree trunk as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unsettling. Yep.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's about all I got on the windy guys.
The windy guys?
Yeah.
I love that nickname. It makes them sound so cute.
Yeah. I need to see if I can find that picture that I'm thinking of because I know that you'll know.
I was going to ask you if like when you research it, like if you look up like a more like original lore Wendigo, like if you would get a drawing or a painting of something like from historical.
You normally get the deer, and it's like right now all I'm getting is the deer shaped things, and it's like that's not it. It kind of looks like that. That's the figure I'm imagining that I can see.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
That's kind of what that for whatever reason is like a symbol of a Wendigo to me, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I can like insert a picture of it. It's a really rough drawing. I can't Google it to find what that even is, but it's what I imagine when I hear Wendigo and like what I would think it looked like. Because really, when you look up Wendigo, you're going to get the deer head with the antlers and stuff like that. But it does sound like it would look almost more like the rake.
Yeah.
Like the emaciated.
Like here's one that I found that looks probably more like, and this is just like a drawing that somebody did, but.
Yeah. Yeah, much more humanoid. Any thoughts, concerns, theories on these guys?
I have a lot of concerns. I have lots of those.
Plenty of concerns.
Yeah. I wonder where this came from, though.
Probably just the movie. I don't know how far back that image started. But, yeah. I tried to look up theories on that, and they weren't really like theories on why it might have changed shape.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really like all I could really find was like modern day horror, basically. There had been something about like a deer carcass and the starvation of it and things like that, but it still doesn't make sense to be like why it would be a human now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Might need to look up like what the deer symbolizes in Native American culture and like maybe it's tied something there.
Yeah.
I didn't look that part up, but if y'all want to look that up, that's definitely something you can look up and
let us know.
Yeah, maybe tie it somehow there. I'm not sure. Just a theory.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good theory. Those are good. I like that. That was
Thanks.
good.
It was a little pooky.
I like a good cryptid.
Yeah. People wanted the cryptid, so I pulled one out.
I like
I'm
it.
still not ready for Bigfoot.
I like it. I love
There's-
me some Bigfoot.
There's just a lot that goes into Bigfoot. Like a
Mhm.
lot more theory. Can't think
Like
of
what angle are you
conspiracy.
going to take? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably mention all of them. Like tell some Bigfoot stories, but then also mention there's like time travel. There's all
Mhm.
sorts of stuff in there.
Mhm.
So Bigfoot will come one day. It just needs,
He needs some time to cook.
he needs love.
Let her cook.
Yeah.
He needs the love.
He needs it. But if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, all the good things. Go follow us on our socials. We've been getting quite a few more people on our socials. We need to get better at posting again.
I know. We're terrible.
It's honestly, guys, as I mentioned, like we work a lot and then we're putting these out twice a week. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Imagine preparing a story, giving a story, editing a story, doing your personal life, like all of it. But it's so rewarding and we love it so much and that's why we do it. But just imagine how much that takes
Yeah.
and bear with us on it.
Yeah. Because it's
we
not
do
just
our
this.
best. Yeah, I'm like, we do our best, honestly. So just, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all the good things. If you want to send a story, your own recommendations, anything like that, send it to sistersofthestrangepodcast@gmail.com. And our Discord is growing as well. It's just a fun place you can go chat. It has a few different rooms. So there's like sister talk and we just kind of talk in there. Or there's like memes, so you can upload like funny memes and stuff like that. There's a recommendations area. There's a listener stories area. So there's a lot of fun little places and we've got a good community going on right now. So if you'd like to go join, feel free. And I think that is all.
That's it.
We will see you on Friday.
See you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Sisters of the